Welcome to the Empowered Slacker Society, where we believe in working smarter, not harder, so you have more time and energy for the things that truly matter. Each week, we share a powerful strategy with a new guest expert to help you achieve more with less effort. If you want to get these weekly tips, subscribe to the channel, follow the podcast, and be sure to sign up for our weekly email newsletter. Everything is linked below. Let's get into this week's tip.
Today, I'm going to teach you how to plan your week and then adjust when things shift, because they always shift, in a really simple 3-step process. So, hey, I'm Jessica Eastman Stewart, and I'm so glad you're here today. Let's get right into it. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is you cannot keep stuff in your head. It is possible that at some point in your life, you could keep things in your head. You can't do that anymore. You have too much responsibility going on in your personal and your professional life to keep things in your head. So you've got to keep things, your head is a great place to have ideas, as David Allen says in this quote, but it's a real awful place to try to keep those ideas. So you've got to figure out what are the 1 or 2 systems that things are going to live in that are not my head. Okay. Ideally, you'd have a single system, but I know that in 2025, there's a lot going on. You can't have more than a couple of them though, right? So project management, a notebook, you got to have a place where your mind trusts that if I put this thing here, I will remember it at the right time. Okay. So you got to get those things out of your head into a system that you can trust. Okay. 3-step planning process for planning your week. The first step is you're going to have to gather all the things that you need to do and think about this week. And you're going to have to look in a bunch of places probably in 2025 in order to find all of these things. So in a minute, I want you to pause and make your list. But here's some examples of the places you might need to look. When I plan my week, I need to look at my calendar. I need to look at my Asana. That's a project management software that I use. You might have something like that, Trello, Basecamp, Monday, right? You might need to look in some apps. Like I use the Reminders app on my iPhone to keep track of a lot of things. You might need to look in your Reminders app. You might need to look in some sort of CRM. You might want to look at your goals documents. So if you wanted to have a full sense of all the things that you need to think about this week, where would you need to look? I want you to make a list of all of those places right now. Press pause, make your list, just jot it down. Okay, then each week, you've gotten a sense of all these things. You want to keep them organized in some way. Now, this could be digital. It could be on paper. It really doesn't matter. But you need to figure out, how am I going to be able to have a place to look to see all the things I need to work on this week? You might want to organize them in different ways depending on the week or depending on your style. I'm going to show you some examples of this in just a minute. Okay. You're going to organize your stuff. Then the third step is every day, you got to plan again. You don't need to spend a lot of time, but you need to take 2 or 3 minutes in a given day to plan what you need to do that day. Or you could plan the night before for the next morning. That feels really good. You feel like a total winner when you've planned today for what you're going to do tomorrow. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples of how you might organize a day depending on your preferences and your work. Okay. So let's look at some examples of what does it look like to do this second step, to organize all of your tasks. So this is someone organizing stuff on paper. So you can see they've done a couple of things. They've chosen to organize by category. So they are going to be on some podcasts. So they want to organize things. They want to, make all the tasks related to being a podcast guest in one area. So those are some examples. They are also doing a couple of things I want to call out. You can see that on the left side, there's like a circled M. And over on the right top, you see a circled R. Those are hard deadlines. So that task on the left is due on Monday. It has to be done by Monday. It can't just be done sometime this week. And you have tasks like that. Like you can't, send the video for the thing on Tuesday on Friday, right? So it's got to be done by a certain day. You might want to figure out, how am I going to mark those hard deadlines versus the things that I just want to do this week? Another thing they've done here is they're using color coding. You see at the top left, they've got must and maybe. They're categorizing the things that they must do that week versus the things that they hope to do, but they might not get to, right? So you want to think about, is there some layer of what are the things that if my power goes out, I'm like getting myself to a coffee shop to find some Wi-Fi and a plug, because that's how important it is to get this thing done. And which are the things that you just be like, well, power's out, got to do that next week or tomorrow, right? So that's one way to think about that. So that's an example. Here's somebody who, this could be a spreadsheet that you could type into, or you could print out and fill in with handwriting. But this person is organizing more by day. They want to decide when they're going to do certain things. So they've got like time certain things in here. Like you can see that certain things are happening at a certain time. But then they're also, like you can see on Monday, 1 to 3, they've got cold calling. So they're putting tasks into time. This might work for you. It's called time blocking. It doesn't actually work for me. I rebel against it. But the folks who can make time blocking work for them, where they plan out when they're going to do certain things in their week, it is so amazing. So if you want to think about organizing by day, you also see on the left side here, they've got high priority stuff and lower priority stuff. So that's another example of what it could look like. Here is an example of a fully digital system. So this is my Asana account, and you can see the things in there. This is just the My Tasks view, organized by due date. And I've also added a category for priority area to help me remember, what is really important and what can wait if it has to. So that's another way to think about this. And then here's somebody who's got a very simple handwritten list by category, and they're just, marking things off as they get it done. So there's lots of ways this can look. Let's talk about that third step, the planning of the day. Here's an example of what it can look like to just plan with 3 simple columns. Meetings, must, maybe. This is a simple Canva design that I did because I get a little bit of joy about incorporating the seasons into my planning. So this is like a fall themed, autumn themed printout. And then I could just jot down what are the meetings and other time certain things I have to do. What are the must do's today? And what are the things that are maybe? I hope to get to them, but I might not. I'm not going to be up at midnight doing them if I don't get to them, right? And then you'll see there's a spot for notes at the bottom as I'm jotting things down throughout the day. Another example, this is a fully digital example. This is a simple search, which you can, usually do saved searches in most project management systems. This is a search in Asana for show me all the tasks that are assigned to me, still incomplete and due within 0 days. And I've saved that as Jessica's task for today. And it's an easy view of what do I need to do today. Another example is this is a simple card. This reminds me of how my dad used to organize himself when I was growing up, with an index card in his back pocket with a golf pencil. And he would keep track of anything he needed to do and remember on that day on that card. So this is from Sahil Bloom, this picture. And on the front, he keeps his top priorities for the day. And on the back, he writes small tasks that need to be done throughout the day. That's another way you could plan your day. And this is another person who likes to plan more by time and put things into time. So they've got sometimes certain things. You see there's a tax class at 3:15 that happens at a particular time, but then the rest of the day they're planning when they're going to write blogs, when they're going to do a registration form. So if you like to plan when things are happening, this could be how your daily plan goes. So you're using that weekly list and then saying, okay, based on what I've already gotten done, anything new that has popped up this week that I didn't know when I originally planned, and this is how you make your daily plan. Okay, but I want you to work from a checklist when you're planning your week, okay? Because checklists save lives. They get so many things out of your head, and all you have to do to plan your week is make a checklist. So let's talk about what that can look like. Okay, so in the middle of this one on the left, you'll see this is where the meat of my planning happens. So as I'm planning my week, I'm going to clean up any calendar conflicts, but I'm also going to look in all those places that I need to look to be able to get a full sense of my week. So I'm going to look in all these places and make sure all my tasks are either on a piece of paper or in my Asana, whatever I'm using in a given week, to make sure that everything is in one place. So that's where I'm planning my week. But also, I have other things on my weekly planning checklist to keep me more organized. So, I do things like I restart my phone once a week. And I do that during my weekly planning. It keeps my phone from getting all wonky, right? I charge the mouse that I use at my laptop, because otherwise If I don't remember to charge it, then it will die in the middle of exactly when I don't want it to die, right? And I won't be able to use it. So what are the things that you could put on your list that you want to do once a week, and the things that you need to do to plan your week, and have that checklist? And it feels so good because all you do is just go through, okay, did I water the plant? Okay, great. Did I wipe down my desk? Whatever the things are that make things matter for you, put them on your checklist, okay? I've got a whole bunch of free resources for you, so I'm really excited to share them. Let me tell you about each one of these. And you can go to my website, jessicaeastmanstewart.com/freebies to find all of them and a few more. But on the left, I've got my polish week checklist. This is the concept of having a polish day or a polish week, is really taking a little bit of time out of your like normal life to polish up your systems. So this is the time that you say, I'm going to take a day, and during this day, I'm going to update my computer software and wipe down my desk and unsubscribe from some newsletters I no longer want to get, and those types of tasks that allow you to move faster every other day moving forward. So this checklist has lots of ideas, and you can personalize it so that you can have a checklist to do polish days or polish weeks for yourself. In the middle here, this is really for you if you're a business owner. So this is just an email series. It's about 35 days long. You sign up and you'll get the first email right away and the next one tomorrow. And this is just little tips for being a business owner. So everything from a PayPal setting that you probably want to turn on to, the best resources I've found and little tools and little hacks as a business owner to make you successful at business. So this one is really helpful if you're running a small business. And then on the right, this is if you want to work with a virtual assistant or any person, if you're running a team or if you just have a part-time VA, playbooks are the way that I make sure that things go really well with folks that I'm working with. And some people call them like standard operating procedures, but playbooks is a twist on this to make things really, really easy to hand off to someone else. And if, your assistant changes over time, you're going to be way better set up. So this will have a video showing you how I do this. My example, template that you can just take to make your own playbook really quickly, as well as a big list of ideas for the playbooks that might be helpful for you. So whether you're working alone or running a small business, this playbooks concept could be really helpful. These are all free, and I hope they're really helpful. Thank you so much for being here. It has been a delight to share my planning process with you, and I hope it's helpful.
We hope you enjoyed this Slacker hack of the week. Remember, smart work beats busy work. Until next time, stay empowered, stay slacking. If you want to do a good deed of the day and help us grow the channel and bring you even more amazing content, leave us a comment, subscribe, leave us a review, do all the things. We'll see you guys next time.